Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, Bitchute channel and Facebook page at True Divine 44. You can get me on the True Divine at Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, follows and comments are greatly, greatly appreciated, and much love to everybody who's doing that thus far. In particular, Twitter. I didn't really ever understand Twitter, and oh my goodness, I've been on it a bit and it's like going into the twilight zone with people there that just you think it would have ended by now, you know, watching mainstream media news, even qualified nurses, and I'm just it feels really weird. I feel like I'm going in there almost to give myself that weird feeling to think, is this real? Are there still people out there that are still buying this? And they are. So anybody that wants to join me over there for some camaraderie, you would be greatly, greatly appreciated, because sanity needs to be infused in that space. My goodness, it's a good space to get messages across. We need to utilize and use these platforms as we can right now, as much as we can right now, for the time being that we can. But you know, it's an uphill task because they are swamped with mainstream sucklers, you know, they're suckling on the teat of the mainstream. I don't know how else to put it. So this is where I put out the free content that helps support, guide and inspire those who want to be. Take what resonates as it is general. I combine the energy work that I do and the tarot work that I do to help you recognize the energies within, around you and within others, to help you guide your day, reach your highest potentials and do your best each day to attain those goals and live happily. So leave a comment as to how it resonates. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do on your way out. I appreciate that very much. Where are we? Let's see. I'm not going to start with the bottom of the deck, going to start with the reading. So we've got the Seven of Wands again. I think it was yesterday that it was in reverse. So this is where we're speaking to this opportunity to take the upper ground, to recognize the powers that are held here, the upper hands that are held here. In that, once we see where the fight is supposed to be, one, there's this fight within ourselves to give ourselves the permission to recognize the divinities within and the power within, the source of beauty and creation within, that spark of life. And so with this fire, I want you to get it pumping up and burning for self today. Wake up before you even put feet on the ground. Say positive, uplifting. I mean, you know, like, you know, the movie Rocky, where he's running up the stairs. Da, 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 da. You know, be doing that, you know, before you even get out of bed. I want to see you in my mind's eye, you know, sort of bouncing on the bed to the Rocky going up the stairs music, pumping up that energy before you even touch those feet on the ground in the morning. Then have 5 minutes at least of meditation to go within and see all of these elements that you have within, the air, the oxygen, the fire, you know, those even those acids in the body being in balance, but being able to envelop and dissolve anything that would harm you. The earth, you know, the actual body itself, the waters, the substances, the plasmas that you have pumping through your veins. Speak to all of these elements and speak to them in power. Speak to them with that amped up energy that you've already created with that theme tune in your mind. Obviously, use whatever theme tune gets you pumping like that. But, you know, that theme tune gets me pumping. And so it's about really feeding this fire today. and being on the not the defensive, what's the other word for it? Not the defensive, on the opposite to being on the defensive. And not in an antagonizing way, not in a way that you want to go out and cause trouble, but in a way that you're putting out that electromagnetic field. You're pumping that through the electromagnetic field that is radiating from you at a greater distance than you would ever imagine. This divinity, this sovereignty, this fired up feeling of you're ready to take your stand, you're ready to defend what is yours and keep what is yours, and actually claim birthrights. This is about really putting out that the thought forms into the reality today of claiming back birthright, claiming back the truth, claiming back what is really at your disposal when you don't have people around you or people above you in the so-called powers that be blocking that, or even having yourself blocking that. As far as these so-called powers that be, it's gone too far now for any side. You know, we didn't take certain windows, but it's gone too far now to still be on the defensive on behalf of any one person outside of self or any one side outside of self. This is now about being in your the upper hand, being in the at the top of the hill, in the strategic position. It also speaks to me very loudly about being ready to, you know, because it has gone too far, no matter what the divide that they have pre-programmed into you, particularly in the US and the UK, to go to the borders, to go to the shores, to go to the wall. You know, this is about not falling for the distraction and picking up on the energies that are there. Certainly not doing the pre-programmed route. There's going to be certain things on the news today, particularly in the US, maybe as well regarding the lorries that are stuck in the UK because of Brexit. That are going to be, you know, those big FFs that, you know, that they wave around in front of everybody to pre-program people. And, you know, that's not to say that real people won't get hurt. It's not to say that it's false in that way. It's to say that it is manufactured. It is just like the other day on the 6th, in the US, it is manufactured. It is not organic of the people. And this is, again, to try and pre-program people to be at certain places, act in certain ways at those certain places, which would be a trap. And so we've got here the 3 of Cups. Bear in mind sometimes, and this will come to mind when the time's right, both in your individual life and from the so-called powers that be, when people play the victim by playing the victor, but then allowing the stories to go far enough to portray them as the victim, a lot of humans can be drawn to protect that human even more because they're being humble, or you get what I mean. Don't fall for that trick either. Got the 3 of Cups here to clarify this 7 of Wands. This is about making personal connections with those around you that you can trust. In that, there's celebration. In this today, for those who find this, there's a camaraderie, there's an uplifting, there's a celebratory type of feeling, a breakthrough. And so the next card is the 5 of Swords, sorry. So this is conflict. This is there are no winners. And this is in particular in the US about the 2-side system, that it's a play. And I know that's hard to take, but it's a play. And there are no winners. There's this battling on, there's this jousting between the two, but there are no winners. It's being played. and it's being played out. And we've got the King of Fire here, the King of Staffs, or King of Wands in other decks. You can see here that this king he sits proud, but he's the man of the people, and so there's an allowance from the man of the people to sort of, without encouraging this, again, playing out this play, not to fall for that. In your individual lives also, this speaks to maybe for some of you needing to take the authoritative role of the King of Wands, who has the wisdom to know when to step in that fatherly role to put a stop to certain conflicts. Because here, I see for some of you, there's this Five of Wands, but there's this one wand in the middle that the innocents are wrapped up in. And it's for you to, but then there's these two sides, as above, so below. Things are reflected in our lives that go on in the so-called powers that be, and then the planets, that's layers. All the layers are reflective of one another, which is why living our life right, being with the right people, being divine, making those decisions that are divine, rather than just pretending we are, doing the real inner work, actually does have a direct influence on where we find ourselves as a collective and who we find ourselves under the foot of if we're not doing this enough in the collective. So this King of Wands speaks to stepping in excuse me, in this fatherly role, where to put a stop to this conflict, where there are no winners, but there's very definitely some people in the middle that are losers. To me, it's children, and so that calls upon you to do that in a very wisdom-filled way, but an authoritative, fatherly type fashion. We've got here the Tower card at the end here. Now, this speaks of, I did a video on this. Please go and refer to the video about the Tower card. It will make so much sense to you. But you see here, this is a turbulent card. The waves are splashing, so the emotions are in upheaval. There's flames coming out of the tower. There's you be careful of that, baby boy. There's the dragon wrapped around the tower, crashing the top of the tower off, and this lightning strike coming from the heavens. And so this is speaking about universal energies coming in, where changes weren't made in your life, where ego built up this tower and this protective tower, or to this egoic crown that sits on the top of the tower, where illusions sit about self, about circumstances. This is where the universal energies come in and say no further. Now, in the collective stage, many towers are coming down. A lot of them, though, are planned demolitions. And I mentioned this in a previous video, where they know that they need to bring in and want to bring in different systems. So they're quite happy to crash down the very systems that they have built, made a lot of money off, gained a lot of power from. But while we've all been distracted by their draconian rules that don't make any sense for what's been going on or not being going on, that big distraction has had the biggest uppay ever known in the history of financial bookkeeping, and they have been serving that into the systems that they're building for the future. And so this isn't to say that we cannot be complacent, and I don't want to be a party pooper, but we cannot be complacent when we're talking about arrests are being made, towers are coming down. This is because these systems have served their purpose now, and there's this new sheriff in town, but basically doing exactly the same things as the old boss, but with the technological abilities like never before that the old boss did not have to hand. Now they have this to hand. So don't be complacent about the towers that are coming down in the collective. That's not to say I would knock those crowns off the top of the towers myself, given half the chance, given half of the resources to do so. Absolutely send me in there, but you know, because of who is planned demolition in these towers, then it's not a good thing, because then we're complacent about what thinking that, trust this plan. No, can't trust this plan. How long do we go on trusting anyone else's plan? It's not even fair at this point to trust somebody else's plan. If we want to take that tact, it's not even fair to put that on any one person or any one small group of people. It is about us saying, which should have been saying a long, long time ago, towers that are built up of abuses to children, towers that are built up of the slave trade being still the most profitable business above all else. That is done with business in the shadows. This is where we should have been doing this ourselves. It's happening nonetheless, but that doesn't mean we should be complacent about why it's happening. The certain people who created the towers should definitely be seen for exactly what they are and for exactly what they've done. And so, but with this tower card, please refer back to that tower video that explained it. And you see here that the dragon is actually, although there is a lot of turmoil here, there's a lot of sorrow in this card often, there's a lot of worry in this card often, it actually only takes down the crown that is made up of ego, lies and illusion of the tower. The tower itself stands strong, and this is where this depicts the true essence of self. I've just pulled this for my beautiful Deborah on the Wayne Steiger's Tarot Friday show, and spoke about this. And so this is where we have the opportunity to prove ourselves to ourselves, to really change things for the better, for the innocence, for the next generations, by recognizing that we are released from that served our ego and our ego only. We are released from illusion for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. We are released from those limitations that those boxes would have had us put into. We are now at our light worker, light warrior, Viking, whatever you resonate with. There are those of you that have definitely here at this time for this very reason. And this is where we get to prove that we have gone through the mill, and now we can expose our true essence, our true self, our true power, and really be putting that out there, not dancing to the tunes of the systems that need to come down. But again, they're just getting ahead of us. We can't have this, can't keep getting ahead of us. At this point now, we need to say just no to all the rules, no to all of the bull bleep, all of that. We need to just say no and usher in, because right now we have the world card clarifying the tower. So this is huge changes, and this is where we see the separation that has been occurring, and we're going to actually see almost a separation of timelines. And I can see it and feel it, that it's being done with frequency, where you're slicing a cake. And this is the vision that I had. You're slicing a cake, but you slice it so precisely with frequency. And choosing your lane, like I've been mentioning in other readings, puts you to whatever slice or side of the cake that your frequency resonates with, that your frequency vibes with. And so this is where we are lucky to have the opportunity right now, in the energies that we are in right now today, to find our true selves, find our true essence, and be as strong and as firm and as in flow as this tower, without the limitations. The tower energy does not want you in its exalted fashion to have any crown on the top. That's a lid, that's a stopper, that's a block. It wants that lid, that top, that head to be free of any egoic type of crown that would continuously block higher consciousness, that would block elevation. And so this is where we welcome in the tower energy and surrender to some of the waves that come in our individual lives. We surrender to the flames that cleanse and purify our true essence. And this is where we get to start to see and feel the power that, yes, this is a turbulent time, but we'd let this get so far. It was never not going to be a turbulent time, but this is really where we get to usher in the new reality that we would want to see. Unfortunately, yes, like this frequency cake slicer that I keep envisaging, which for how big it is, for how dramatic it is, it seems like a very silly vision to have to depict it, but it is what it is. And is that this is happening, and they've actually been doing this artificially to harness people, to lock people in fear, to actually put lids on towers of people. But there are those of us here that did not work. It had the opposite effect. So this is where we are welcoming in these energies and finding our true essence, our core self. And so the next card is on the bottom of the deck. We have, oh, Theodore, you've messed up the bottom of the deck, baby. There. The High Priestess. This is where there is more happening in the shadows. There is more happening in the hidden realms of you, of self. Connections being made to that of the things that you've had amnesia over, the things that you've known were there, that you've known that were to know, but not quite getting it, not quite in a stand in it. This is where there is more happening in those quiet, dark corners of self that are really building those connections, especially with this Tower card and the World card here at the end. And so the High Priestess speaks to the occult, to the hidden. And with these bold moves that the so-called powers that be, that begin with my first letter of my first name, they're going to be seen. It's actually going to be noticed for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear just how manufactured and false they've created this reality for a very long time, with the numbers, with the words, with the magic, everything that they hid from us, all of the knowledge that we naturally had, they came in and hijacked it. And because they're being so bold right now, they're making these bold moves, although it might be turbulent, we will see. And so there's going to be things that we're going to be shocked to see. We're going to be shocked to see just how manufactured some things are going to be. It's going to be upsetting. You know, there's things that maybe that we like within those systems, you know, and that's not to say that we can't build that better and incorporate it in a way that is for the collective. But the things that they have been working on and have kept hidden, you know, this black cube, this time traveling, all of the things that I've mentioned, using the codes, using the DNA, that being the Holy Grail, to jump into certain time periods. All of this is going to come to the fore. All of this is going to be known. But there are many that just will not see, cannot see, and will not ever see, not in this lifetime, not in this part of their process. So we've got this this aspect of even those who know a lot are going to be shocked. We've got the knowledge coming through of just how they've been collecting the frequencies and bouncing them off. And when we're questioning, how can they have fooled so many? Frequency. They're not just putting out the propaganda, they're playing hidden frequency. I have heard it, I've felt it. This is going to be known for those who know, but those who it's worked on will never know. And that's a sad thing. It is a sad thing, but it is their path. It is how their experience is going down. So we've got the Two of Cups here. So this keeps coming up, and this is in a different deck. This is about balance. This is about finding that divinity within, the divine feminine, divine masculine, the as above, so below, and vice versa. Being able to transmute that energy and hook into that energy from a balanced place, knowing which to use and when and in what situation. It also speaks to falling in love with self, Stop it, Theodore. I'm nearly done. I know you're just, but stop it. That's Mummy's crystal ball. But baby, that's Mummy's crystal ball. And I'd like it to stay in a ball. Be careful.
Yeah, because when I do this, it like goes back.
Yeah, that makes Mummy cringe a bit because Mummy likes that ball. Okay?
Yeah, but when I go and do this happens.
Yeah, Theodore, that's my point. Okay. So this, sorry about that. So this is about also, for a lot of you, for one of you, there's this soulmate type energy that has passed over, a partner that has passed over but was very definitely a soulmate, making themselves very, very apparent in your physical sphere today. Messages, signs, lights going on, things like that. And make sure you go into your dream world with intent tonight, to speak to this loved one, because this loved one's with you, never left, never will. The essence is joined. There's a beautiful energetic cord there, that should not and could not be severed, because neither of you would do that or want to. You draw power and strength, and the passing over, is going to aid you actually in that. There's a way of building a different kind of relationship once you can recognize and open up to this person being there still and receiving the messages that they've got for you. A lot of you also are coming up to see that there's a few of you that have recognized that you have maybe missed out on soulmate energy, that certain distractions that happened stopped you from doing that. There's things coming up today that, thank you, that you can heal from with that you can take lessons from with that will take you forward on your path. I'm not going to do a love reading right now to see how far that will go, but nevertheless, it's still powerful because it's still lessons that you can learn from that for your greater good. So I'm going to leave it at that because the adorable is being a little Aquarian barbarian, and I'm going to let you go. If you'd like a personal reading, any energy work or any spiritual guidance, you can get in touch with me at truedivine at gmail.com, or you can hook up with me at private messenger at truedivine44. Appreciate and love you all, and so does Theodore. I love you all. Stay balanced, stay whole.
But if you have
bye.